Hello, welcome to a Meet Me at the Movies Extra. I'm Noel T. Manning II, hanging out with Thomas Manning. And Thomas, there's a game that I used to play as a kid called Pinball. It's something you said you may have played this at the Quick Snack, but it's not something that you really embraced on a daily schedule. Is that right?
No, I was not the subject of the song by Elton John, Pinball Wizard, which I think you were, though. I believe that was written about you.
Well, I really did, and I was never a pinball wizard, but I love playing the game. I love playing pinball. I loved all the different machines, and there were so many different machines, and this was before the true video games where you could kind of escape. I mean, for you, for those who love to play pinball, you would have like pinball arcades where there were just pinball machines all over the place, and they were all slightly different. They all had different themes. Most of these were actually made in Chicago, and this movie that we're going to chat about called Pinball: The Man Who Saved the Game was one that was brought to us by the Bragg brothers, Austin and Meredith Bragg. They wrote and directed this based on a true story. The film premiered at the International Film Festival in Hampton, went on to win several awards in other festivals, and now it's starting to make its debut in limited theaters and also video on demand. Now, Thomas, it's rare for me that a film that kind of helps me escape also will kind of teach me a lesson or two, and this really was kind of an escape film. But it did teach me a few lessons. I found this movie to have sharp writing, wonderful dialogue. The character chemistry was truly solid. And the story structure and the narrative choices were really brilliant, bringing this piece of history to life. And it's a piece of history that not a lot of people knew about. Pinball was outlawed in Chicago. It was against the law, and also in New York and other places, because they considered it a form of gambling. And the main character is someone who fell in love with the game and became very good at the game, and he basically was writing for GQ magazine and wanted to write an article about how this game that had been beloved by kids and adults alike was outlawed because it was a form of gambling and luck, and he wanted to prove to the world that it wasn't luck, it was actually skill. You could be a skillful player if you knew exactly what you were doing, like any other sport. And so he basically took it to City Hall along with some others to prove that this game was much more than just something that just kind of happened. And it's a film about choices. It's a film about risk. It's a film about finding your happy place as well. I really found this movie that was time period of 1975. It was done incredibly well. When you're looking at a period piece, that's difficult to do. There's a main character, Thomas, who has a stash, much like yours, but intensified. And initially, that was the one drawback for me, because I'm like, this is bad prosthetics. This, unlike Scott Adkins in John Wick 4, the prosthetics for this looked pretty bad. The makeup, the hair, that mustache just was distracting. But then when you go and look at the person this was based on, the dude had a stash that was like this, that could reach out and touch you. I found this movie to be incredibly entertaining. It was a nice surprise. A story like this could be kind of a flat storytelling with this kind of historical pit stop in the back, but this one found a way to do it creatively, and it did it almost in this docu style where you had this interview with the guy who was like present day, reflecting on his life, talking to some filmmakers, and he would actually pop up in scenes from the past. So you would go back to 1975 and he would walk into the scene with his younger self. And that was really interesting to see that fourth wall break.
Yeah, and I believe this is Mike Feist in the lead role, if I remember correctly, and he was nominated for a BAFTA last year for his performance in West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's remake. And he was terrific in that role. I have not had a chance to check him out in this pinball film yet, but I do know his talent, and I just his name alone would be enough to bring me into this film. So I'm hoping to get a chance to watch it soon.
Yeah, he was wonderful in this, and he was opposite of Crystal Reed from Teen Wolf, and she stars as a kind of his significant other later in life, who he bumps into and ends up having this relationship with, and she's a single mother, and of a kid, and the relationship between those two is pretty wonderful as well. And I really found this movie just to be incredibly enjoyable. I was not expecting what I gained from this. It was a film that provided messages. The editing and the camera choices were seamless through this. I love how it spoke, as I said, to the risk and the choices we make. And there are sometimes in life that we can take moments of escape, even if it's for a short while, to take us away from our problems. And this movie really reminded me of those simple joys in life that can do that. It's also a reminder that the challenges that we may face in life, and the characters, the main characters, do face some challenges, but you realize that those challenges are temporary. And in the hands of some lesser directors, I think this story could have failed. I think it could have tilted like a pinball machine, but it was skillful, and it was done so with precision. I was truly impressed with this, and working to get an interview with the Bragg brothers as well. So I'm excited to be able to do that. Hopefully I'll be able to offer that as well. Any other thoughts or questions you want to make sure you ask me, Thomas, about the movie? It's called Pinball, the Man Who Saved the Game.
Well, I guess I'm sold on it. And so what is the release looking like for this? I think, is it a limited theatrical release?
Yeah, limited theatrical release available now. Also, you'll be able to find it on demand. There were some quotes that really stuck out with me. It was interesting. 94 minutes, so it's concise. Kind of three-act structure really works there. Some of these quotes relate to risk. One of them, risk make life fun. That's one that stands out. Also, the bigger risk is not taking a risk. I appreciated that. And then one that I think speaks to opportunities. Not everyone gets a chance to take a chance. I kept writing these quotes down as the movie was going along. And the last one I'll share, I think, speaks to that as well. If you want to achieve something, you have to aim for something, and that translates into life as well. So really appreciated this movie. A solid B+ for this. And if you watch movies all the way through the credits like you and I do, if there are ever animals in films, you will typically see a disclaimer that says no animals were harmed in the making of this film. Well, for this one, the disclaimer was a lot of fun. It said no pinball machines were harmed in the making of this picture. And there's one scene where there is total destruction of police destroying all these pinball machines because it was illegal. And so I thought that was really witty. And if you hung around, you got a chance to appreciate that and understand the inside joke as well. Well, I appreciate you guys joining us right here on this Meet Me at the Movies Extra. As we look at the film Pinball, the Man Who Saved the Game. Thomas, thanks for spending time with us here. And always watch us, if you get a chance, on Meet Me in the Movies on C19 TV each week, where we have 30 minutes of just fun and chaos. And we just appreciate you however you spend time with us. And if you listen to the radio and podcast version on WG.org, we appreciate that as well. So until next time, for Thomas Manning, I'm Noel T. Manning II. That's a wrap.